Okay guys and gals, I received a request to go over all my vinyl siding tools, and so this is going to be a video on the tools and a short review on each one. Actually probably be a more in-depth review on each one. And these are tools that I use every day, all day. As a professional in the field, I've been doing this for somewhere around 12 years. So these serve me well, and these are what you need to do vinyl. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pin a comment with direct affiliate links for each tool to Amazon, and you can go over there and buy them there, or you can shop around. So I'm going to get right into it here. What I have right here is the Occidental Finish Carpenter nail bags. These ones are about 10 years old. They're showing a little bit of wear right there where I hang my gun, and over here where I clip my tape measure on. I think there used to be a little clip there, but that's long gone now. I'm just hooking on that leather, so I need to get that repaired. Once I get that repaired, these bags are as good as new. Over here I have a husky pouch that I just added to these. I think it's about the same age as the nail bags, and it's falling apart. You can see it's all sun bleached, and it's about ready to go. I also added a hammer loop for my snips. And so these have a little bit of adjustment here in the belt, and then you can get some more adjustment right there. And right here it's padded, so they sit on your hips well, and they're pretty comfortable, so I'm happy about that. They stay open, they maintain their shape, so that's good. It's easy to reach your hand in. You're not trying to fish your hand into a pouch every time you want to grab something. Another thing that's really quite nice about them is they have lots of little spots to put things. Right here you have this loop that's long. These fit in there nice and snug. Same thing over there. Plenty of spots for your pencils, your markers. Spot for my siding zip tool. And it just helps to have things not floating around in your bags. So every time you grab something, it's right where you put it. It just saves you that much time where it's worth it. So I will put a link to a more affordable set of nail bags. This set right here I think runs around $300, maybe $260, depending on where you get them from. So they are a bit pricey, but in my experience they're well worth the money. You know, obviously if you're just doing a small job, you only need them once, probably not the nail bags for you. But yeah, I really like them. So moving on, right here I have just a regular 16-ounce hammer with a smooth head and a straight claw. So you can have pretty much any hammer. I think this is a husky, but the name's long gone. Oh no, it's plum, never mind. And what you don't want though is a waffle head hammer. So if you're doing trim, metal trim, you're going to mark it up with the face of the hammer. You don't want to do that. Right here I have a Lenox Gold, and what I like about this is it has a quick change blade. You push this to the right, push it down into the right, and that allows me to pull the blade out and put a new blade in. No tools to change the blade. Also has storage right there. I can fit, I think, 4 blades in there before it doesn't want to close. And so this is a popular knife, so popular that this is the third one that I've had to buy because the other 2 got stolen. One thing that I like about this and I don't like about other knives is some other knives have a quick release for the blade where you just push this down and forward. And what happens for me, and it's user error, I'll admit that partially, is I accidentally push that button in as I'm knifing something and then the blade falls out. So I like that this one you have to push it to the side. So that's that. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm gonna do it again, and if I did, and I'm bumbling around with my words. But these bags have a plastic sheath for the knife, so I'm able to keep my knife blade out because it's not gonna fall out. It fits in there snug. And also I'm not gonna punch a hole through the bottom of my bags with my knife. Definitely word of caution, you don't wanna do that if your knife isn't sitting in there snug, because you don't want an open bladed knife falling out of your pouch. Right here I have just my regular carpenter pencils. And right here I have a siding zip tool. This is the Malco Sideswiper 2. And for me, this one is the one to get. It has the best profile. It's the easiest to work with. I've tried a few other brands and they really didn't work that well for me because the end is slightly shaped different. And in fact, Malco has a different one where it's just all flat. It doesn't have this rolled over right there. And it has a curved handle and it's a little wider. And I really didn't like those because being wider, and I think this slightly different shape here, it was harder to fish in here. Okay, because that's what siding looks like when it's clicked together. And you're trying to get that in there. You hear that little click, and then you're able to pull that out. What you're actually going to be doing most times is you're going to be flexing that bottom down to unclip it. So yeah, really happy with this. I like the design, I like the profile. Moving on over here, I have just a regular chisel. This thing I use for cleaning areas where the J-channel needs to meet concrete or something. You can see it's pretty well abused. Also, number one job for this is going underneath the drip edge and pulling it out so I can slip in the fascia metal. So you want to have a chisel, any chisel will do. Right here we have our chalk line. You want to make sure you use blue chalk or some chalk that is washable. You don't want to use red chalk or black chalk. Those are permanent or semi-permanent. And if you get that on the face of siding, you're going to be out of luck because it doesn't come off, or it doesn't come off very easily. Right here I have just regular Sharpie markers. They make, I think Milwaukee makes one that marks on oily surfaces, wet surfaces, and those are nice, but my experience, any marker is fine. What you end up doing is wearing out the felt. So if somebody made like a clicky marker where the felt could go out, that would be really cool. Hopefully somebody will take that idea and make millions with it. Right here we have slot punchers. And this is anywhere where at the top of a wall you want to be able to put a nail in a piece of siding. And you need it to move still. You pop a slot in there and you can put a roofing nail in, or like me, I use staples, so I could staple that. And it's going to allow the siding to still expand and contract. Malco also makes hand seamers. They have a similar handle style, but they have a flat bar at the end, coming both ways off of both sides. It's basically a clamp that goes like that. And what it does is you can hook on to a tab on your fascia metal, and where you're turning a corner, inside or outside corner, you can grab onto that and make a nice clean bend in that fascia to get it to turn a corner. I don't own hand seamers. I've always just used my hands to bend metal around corners. Now moving on, we have the Andy Malco snips. These are the 12-inch with a 3-inch blade. What I like about these is they have this rubber handle. This rubber handle is comfortable to hold. And also what it does for you is these snips are made of aluminum and they're painted. Well, you can see that that paint wears off. Now what happens with aluminum is it oxidizes and it has a black residue on it. So if you don't have this and the paint wears off, you get that black residue from the oxidation on your hands, and now every time you touch a piece of siding, you're transferring the oxidation to that, and you're constantly cleaning your hands or cleaning the siding. So that just saves you from having to clean your hands as many times or clean the siding. One thing I will note about these is that this little nut, it tends to tighten up over time. So once in a while, if you watch my videos, you see me go like that, and that'll just loosen that nut up and they'll work well again. Another thing that happens too is the siding waste piece will come up here and they'll kind of grab onto this rubber a little bit. You just need to pull it up and out of the way. A little nuisance, but overall really happy with those. Like them. Been using those for 12 years. Right here in this pouch I just have a few roofing nails, and then right here I keep an assortment of bits. This is nice to do when you're working on, especially when you're working on an old house and people attach wires with any number of different styles. Just keep them right on you, that way you don't have to run back and forth to your trailer or your house or whatever. And if I can find it, right here, I keep just a regular eraser in my bags. And that's nice for when you, maybe you overmark something and you want to get rid of that. You can erase that line. I don't know how well you guys can see that. But also if there's any residue, tar or something, a lot of times you can take it off with an eraser. Not a guarantee, but it helps. Now right here I have a tab puncher. These are also Malco. And what these are for is, you can see I've had a couple attempts at making this video. But what you want to do is you just put them this way, so it's going that way, pointing to the right there. And so it's going towards the face of the siding. And there you go. You just make a little tab. This is for where you're terminating a wall at the top. And you can't get the F channel against it because maybe there's blocking above. Or you want to use J channel against your siding. Or J channel up there and then undersill underneath it. And it's not possible to use the nail slot in a nail. Or if you just don't like the way that's turning out. So you make those tabs, and you put this undersill at the top of your wall, and those tabs then will click right in to that undersill. You can see how they're angled down and the undersill is looping up. So those are locked in. One thing I'll note is you want to make sure that you're pushing it up high enough and you have those tabs low enough so that this down below is staying fully engaged and it's not able to sag down and out. So one way to check that is just by measuring this reveal. If the reveal is supposed to be 5 inches like this one, just make sure it's at 5 inches and not 4 7/8. 4 3/4, you know you're in danger of having it becoming unclipped. If you do by chance want to unhook it, what you can do is you get this thing up in there and you end up folding this bottom out And now you have the bottom loose. What you can do is you just roll this thing out and you get it to unhook. Now, if there's something right there like a roof, you push back in there a little closer and you'll still get it to unclip. It's a little extra tip for you guys. So that's the undersill. That's those clips. As a short demonstration on how to use that siding tool, zip tool. Now we're on to my level. This is my torpedo level. It's a 10-inch Empire. Really happy with this too. It tapers this way, but it doesn't taper that way, which is actually slightly uncommon for torpedo levels. A lot of torpedo levels taper at the ends, which is an annoyance when you're trying to level in a fascia or something and you want to make a mark on the abutting wall. Now you have a taper at the end. This one doesn't do that, so you have a full 10 inches of leveling capability, which is really nice. The other ones, you bring those ends in, now you only can level 6 inches. So really happy with this. It's still true. I've used it for a few years. The magnets on the bottom, I don't really care about. They're kind of a nuisance because they just collect things and I need to make sure to clean it off frequently. Right here I have a Stanley tape measure, the Stanley Fat Max. This is nice. It has a good standout. And yeah, I go through tape measures pretty quickly. Made a little dent there. But anyways, right here this has usually little tabs sticking up there and there. And those are for like if you're reaching out and you're trying to hook something, you can hook something with the top of the tape. You don't have to try to put it upside down. But I just go ahead and snip those off because I don't find that they're very useful. And when I'm trying to measure inside of a J pocket, those prohibit me from getting it in there, or they make it difficult for me to get it in that J pocket and pull it out. So that's what I do with that. Right here I have an Empire speed square. What I like about this is the rafter conversions. It tells you that an 8 pitch is a 33.75 degree angle. Now if I want to find the opposite of that, all I need to do is deduct 33.75 from 90. So I know that's 66.25. So if I want to find that angle, it makes it easy. Another thing that's pretty nice is these little notches right there. You can put your pencil in there and scribe a line if you're making a rip wherever you want. Usually I hold my pencil out there though. Okay, then obviously you have your measurements there too. If you're scribing a line as well, you can hold it anywhere on the square and scribe a line. There's another one that I don't think it's made by Empire, but it has a pivot right here. You can actually fold it out and make it longer. And I've thought about buying that one. It's pretty expensive, but this will work for now and I'm happy with it. Moving on, we have a trim nail punch. This one's by Cobalt. Malco makes a similar one. And what this is for is if you want to put a trim nail into a trough of J channel or F channel, say your J channel's not sitting flat, is wanting to roll out, you can put a trim nail in there and get it to sit a lot flatter. And that thing right there just pushes that nail right out. So that's quite nice. And what else do I have here? I hope I didn't forget anything. I think I got it all. Right here, I have staples for those staple guns. Okay, so moving on now from all my hand tools, I'm going to go on to just a couple power tools that I use on the regular. So right here, let's see if that falls. Nope. Right here I have the dual battery Makita saw. And what I have right here is a vinyl siding blade. That's specially made for vinyl siding. You can see it has lots of teeth. For years, I used a steel plywood blade on backwards so that the teeth were angled the opposite direction of the cut. And that worked quite well. But this one being specially designed for vinyl, it cuts a little faster. It might chip slightly more in colder weather, but I'm pretty happy with this blade. So that's the Irwin vinyl siding blade, and yeah, that works well. Right here we have the Paslode gun. Now this one is ancient. It's probably 10 years old. I don't even know. But this one is my favorite gun. I'm partial to it. I've been using it for a long time, and I am very, very familiar and used to how it shoots. Right here I added a hook so I can hook it on my nail bags. The hook is nice and deep, so I'm not worried about the gun falling off my nail bags. At the top right here, we have 2 prongs that will direct where the staple is going to go. So right there, you just hook it on there and you pull the trigger, and it's going to set that staple so it's just loose enough so that the siding can still expand and contract. So yeah, that's my favorite siding gun. And right here, this is their new design, which both of these are actually surprisingly hard to find. And so I'm gonna try my best to find a link for you guys, but right now I don't know where to even get these. This is a common Paslode gun. This is easy to find. What's harder to find is this vinyl siding tip right here. Like I said, this is the new design. So this is a separate piece. You just change out that little tiny thing. And again, same deal. That just hooks on there. And I've found that this one actually shoots slightly different. I'm not used to it. I don't like it as much. But that could just be my years of experience with the other gun. One thing I will say that's nice about this gun is if you want to put a staple a little tighter, because it's designed like that, you just roll the gun a little bit more forward and that'll put the staple tighter. You don't want to go too tight where things can't move. But that is an advantage that this gun has over the old design. So far I've found that it shoots a little bit more inconsistently, but that could be operator error. Another thing I don't really particularly like is this hook right there. It's pretty short, so I'm a little nervous that eventually it's gonna jump right out of my nail bags on me if I hook the hose on something. But overall, I'd still say this is worth having if you're siding a house. It's definitely going to speed you up a lot. I prefer staples to nails because the staple will loop around your nail fin, and a lot of times in order to get siding off, you actually have to destroy this nail fin to get the siding back off when it's stapled. Now, as always, with nailing, check your state and local codes. Some codes require a thicker fastener. Some codes require stainless steel. So always check with your vinyl siding manufacturer and your local codes. So I think that's going to do it for this review, guys. If there's any questions, just let me know. And like I said, I'm going to do my best to try find those Paslodes for you. But as of right now, they won't be on there. Well, the gun will. Well, I'm not going to put the gun because I can't get you the tip. So that'll be that. See you later.